Hi, welcome to Indian Recaps. Today I will explain a 2012 horror movie called Pizza. So, grab something to eat and relax. Movie starts when a group of students tries to do a ghost hunting in a haunted college building. 14 years ago, 17 students were killed in a fire accident in this building, and people believe the place was ghostly. While they were going through the building, suddenly the EMF meter starts to deflect, indicating presence of something nearby. The group leader starts to talk, asking it to come forward so that they can see it. Quickly, one of them calls the gang and shows them the recording that he took, saying he saw something near the door and recorded it in the camera. Suddenly the door closes, and the EMF meter starts to show huge deflection. So, they try to bang the door down. That is when Michael switches off the TV. Michael is a pizza delivery boy who lives with his girlfriend Anu. She is an aspiring novelist and is researching for writing a horror story. That is why they were watching that documentary. Whereas Michael does not believe in supernatural powers, he is afraid of anything supernatural, and thinks her novel is rubbish. Anu keeps telling him that everyone will at some point in their life realize the presence of supernatural beings, so Michael should wait for his moment. Of course he doesn't take that seriously, and goes off to work. The next day he finds out that Anu is pregnant. He is not happy about that, as he thinks they can't take care of a baby with the salary he has now. So he tries to convince her of abortion. But she doesn't agree to this and wants to get married. They get into a small fight over this, but after discussing with his friends Raghavan and Chef Srinath, they convince him that being a father and a married man is not as bad as it sounds. So they decides to get married that day itself, in their house. One day, his boss Shanmuham asks him to give some files in his home after work. After reaching his house the files fell from his hand. When he took them back, his boss's daughter was standing right next to the door, banging it and screaming at him to open it. Then some of the family members comes and takes her away and asks Michael to bring the boss. He finds out that the pizza restaurant owner Shanmuham's daughter is possessed by a spirit named Nitya. At first, Michael is confused and scared as he remembers what Anu had told him. One particular day, Michael goes out to deliver a pizza to a customer with a box of candy that Shanmuham wanted him to deliver in his house. But he returns to the restaurant in a state of shock while covered in blood. He is apparently injured, keeps constantly muttering Anu's name, and seems to be worried about her. When his boss questions him, Michael explains that he had been to deliver a pizza to a customer named Smita in a bungalow, and tells them the events that happened at the bungalow. Smita requests Michael to wait downstairs while she goes upstairs to retrieve change for the bill of 435 rupees. Almost immediately, there is a power failure. He puts the pizza bag on the table, and waits for Smita to come back. While waiting downstairs completely alone in the dark, Michael hears a loud unidentifiable noise from the bedroom upstairs. Going up to investigate, he notices one slice of the pizza he had delivered to be missing, and finds Smita murdered suspiciously, suggesting that there may be somebody else in the house. Horrified, Michael makes a dash for the door only to realize that it has been locked from the outside. He is scared to death and tries everything to get out of the house. He tries calling someone but there was no signal in his phone. He then hears a phone ringing from the same room where he found Smita dead, but when he reached that room, her body was not there, but there was crumbs of pizza lying on the floor. Furthermore, when the murdered woman's husband Bobby arrives, he at first believes he stumbles upon his wife having an affair. He then calls her. Through Smita's cell phone, Michael tries to communicate with him. At first Bobby doesn't believe what Michael says as he thinks Michael was his wife's secret boyfriend. But after Michael explained his situation thoroughly and upon hearing his wife is actually dead, Bobby agrees to help him to get out of the house. He tells Michael where the key is and Michael gets the key, but Bobby suddenly disappears from the front entrance. So he tries his cell phone, but adding to his horror Bobby's phone is now ringing from somewhere inside the house. He follows the sound, and he finds Bobby inside the house mysteriously murdered in the same room as his wife was murdered hours ago, with 2 slices of the pizza now missing. Now Michael thinks he would be the next target for the killer. He is terrified but decides to wait for the killer with a baseball bat. It was at this time, the house landline, which was dead, suddenly rings. He picks it up to find Anu at the other end. He gets confused when Anu says she was reaching to his cell phone only. He explains everything to Anu, urging her to bring police to this place and rescue him from the killer. Michael now thinks that there is no killer in the house but something supernatural is doing all this. His doubts were confirmed when he saw the framed photo of the murdered family. He also notices a child in the photo whom Michael has never seen in the house. That is when he sensed the ghosts of the dead couple standing next to him. But when he turned around no one was there. Also, Michael encounters the dead couple's child Nitya, identical to the name of the spirit allegedly possessing Shanmuham's daughter. Suddenly Smita's and Bobby's ghost starts attacking Michael. Michael is seriously injured after this. It is that time a couple of policemen arrive at the bungalow. Michael believes that Anu had requested them to help him, and he explains everything to them. But the policemen reveal that 4 people had been killed in that house: Smita, Bobby, their young daughter and a girl named Anu, implying that she is Michael's wife Anu. The police disclose that Michael is a suspect regarding the murder case and attempt to arrest him. Confused and in tears, Michael does not believe the policemen, and attempts to escape the clutches of these policemen in order to go in search of Anu. While trying to escape, Michael witnesses the police getting dragged into the house and getting murdered. He forgets his pizza bag in the bungalow while running for his life. At this point, Michael, in a horrified state, runs back to his house but can't find Anu there, so he starts to search for her in the city, but all his efforts were in vain as he was not able to find her anywhere. That is when he saw his friends near the restaurant. He tries to explain to them what had happened, but they try to calm him. Michael in horror starts to fight them. While Michael is not convinced that Anu is dead, his friends at the restaurant and his boss Shanmuham start realizing that they had never seen Anu. They also observe that Michael's home does not have any evidence that he lived with Anu. Further, it is revealed that the haunted bungalow had witnessed the untimely deaths of a married couple, their daughter, and 2 policemen, whose ghosts Michael had earlier interacted with. Meanwhile, Michael seems to continue his search for Anu, has constant health issues, and seems to be disturbed by ghosts and supernatural entities. But Michael during a delivery stops changes his SIM card and calls Anu. The true story of what had happened is then disclosed. The income tax department had planned on a raid at the restaurant owner Shanmuham's restaurant. He had diamonds worth around 20 million hidden in his restaurant. So he hides it in a box of candies and asks Michael to deliver it to his house after delivering the pizza to the customer. But he gets in an accident on the way, and gets bruised in the shoulder and hand. He goes to his house first to change his dress, and asks Anu to put the pizza in the heater, but she notices the candy box opened. She also notices the packet containing diamonds while putting candies back in the box. Michael and Anu decide that stealing those diamonds would improve their lifestyle and support their baby. So, they make up a clever story similar to the story that she is working on, in which Michael convincingly forgets the pizza bag at the haunted bungalow which Shanmuham would never enter, thanks to his fear of supernatural powers. Meanwhile, Anu packs and plans to go to another city and they decide to settle abroad in 10 days. After the phone call, he goes to deliver a pizza to a house and there was an old lady who asks him to keep the pizza inside. When she asks how much was it, he checks the bill and says, 435 rupees. As the old lady goes to get the money, Michael looks at the bill. It was the same bill as the one in the story he had narrated. That is when the grandma calls her grandchild Nitya to get the pizza. Michael, upon hearing that name, gets nervous. Inside, he finds a photo of the family and a little girl identical to the Nitya he had described in his story. Then the little girl comes out of her room and starts staring at him. The main door suddenly shuts close. Michael starts to panic as he is now locked inside the home with Nitya curiously looking at him. Then the lights go off. The ending of the story points out the belief that karma is a boomerang and a bitch. If you love this and want to watch more, this is another video that you should watch next.